Kristiallure, and today I wanted to do a back to school tutorial. Why? Because everyone's going back to school, whether it's high school or college. I wanted to give you a tutorial on how to get a look for under $25 at your local drugstore. Yes, this is what you get for under $25. I've spent over $150 at Sephora, probably creating a similar look, but for $25, I'm going to show you some great products. They are going to be first impressions for me because I have never tried these products, but I'm excited. And apparently this is some of the brands that a lot of young girls tend to use, and you'll see this at the end of my tutorial from a local cosmetic clerk at Walgreens who will walk us through some of the products that are most purchased at your drugstore. All right, let's get into it. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to start off with what I use to prime my face. I didn't do this on camera because I want to get through this quickly. This is the Neutrogena Clear Face. This is actually really good for breakouts. So if you are a teenager and you have breakout, this is a really good moisturizer. Then I went in and used this Wet n Wild Photo Primer. This is a photo focus primer for your face. This was the most purchased at the Walgreens in my area amongst young girls. So they keep coming back for it, so I'm assuming it must be good. So I did prime my face and it did feel very soft. So, you know, just make sure you really blot it into those areas and those pores that you may have or breakouts, so you really protect them and you can create that smooth surface so you can go in with your foundation. Now I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me, and this is the Matte Plus Poreless. And I used number 220, which is, I think, natural beige. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to put, it's like a screw top. Don't put too much on your hand, but just use a little bit onto the palm of your hand. This looks like a good color. And I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to blot it onto my face. So I'm just going to do this here, just in the different sections. And then I'm going to take my beauty blender, and you can get a beauty blender anywhere. Ulta, you can buy them at the drugstore, and I look crazy with all this foundation, so let me get started here. So you're going to blot it in here. Blot it in, really dab it in there. Now this is going to be a nice lightweight feel. Remember, when you're putting on your foundation, girls, especially young girls, you don't need a lot. So try not to put too much on there because you don't want your face to come out cakey, you know, and through the day it can get that way. So I'm going to teach you how to set this foundation as well. So this covers really good and you don't need a lot, like I said. So make sure that you're really going down your neck and try it out in the store. And the good thing about Walgreens is you can take it back if it doesn't match you, if it irritates your skin. And I really like that about drugstores now. This is really great coverage. I'm really impressed. So this, again, this is the Maybelline Fit Me, and I'm using 220. So if you have skin tone similar to mine, you would use the 220, which is a natural beige. But the coverage is really good. You can see that I didn't use that much of it. So I really don't think you need to use more than that. Again, you're young, and even if you have breakouts, don't try to take the foundation and try to smother it all over your face to cover any kind of breakouts or acne scars or anything like that. So that's a big mistake that I think a lot of teenagers don't realize, especially if you're using a powder foundation, because then it gets really cakey. Use your concealer as a spot conceal. That's the best way to do it. So put your foundation on, and I'm going to show you because now I'm going to go in with the concealer for you. So I'm going to go in with this concealer. This is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. Now, you're probably thinking, I'm in high school, I don't need to age rewind. But this is actually just a really good treatment concealer, and I think it has one of the best coverages. This is the only one I've tried from a drugstore, so I'm sure there's other great ones out there. You can comment below if you find one that you really like at the drugstore. And this is Neutralizer is the color. So I'm going to go in there like I would with my normal concealers, and I'm just going to mark it here, mark it there. Again, just doing the same thing I would normally do with my Shape Tape Tarte, but this is like half the price. So And then if you have you need to spot conceal, like I have a little mark there and a little mark there. And then again, do your little X, come down your nose, but you can go a little bit lighter on that. And then because I'm not going to use an eyeshadow base and I'm not going to use a whole lot of eyeshadow, I'm going to really kind of blot that into my eyelids as well. This concealer is amazing. Now the next most important thing is to set your concealer and your foundation. So I usually use Laura Mercier, which is very expensive, but at the drugstore I found Maybelline. And this is called Shine Free Loose Powder in light number 1. This was the best color for me. I'm not even quite sure how many colors it came in, but I particularly liked this one. And again, this will probably be pretty universal for everybody. And I'm going to take my Real Techniques sculpting brush and I'm going to set that concealer in. I'm going to set it in there, okay? So just making sure that I'm not going to have any creases through the day. So let's take just a loose brush, and this is called the Morphe R7. It looks like this. These brushes are no more than $6.99 on morphebrushes.com. So you can definitely purchase the brushes there. And again, you can use some of the same brushes you already used. I just have quite a bit of brushes, so I'm just gonna swipe this on my face like this, the whole face, because now you're setting your foundation as well. The next thing I purchased was an eyebrow pencil. This was from Wet n Wild. Now, Christy broke the eyebrow pencil because I was trying to take off the packaging and for some reason it split in half. But that's okay. This was only $2 and I think it was like 50% off or 40% off. So I ended up getting it for like $1 something change. It was just ridiculous how cheap it was. So we'll see how it works. This is Wet n Wild. I don't know what color. It is Blonde Moments for my blonde hair, and they came in different colors as well. So you'll take the end of the spoolie and you'll just make sure you comb up your eyebrows. And you're going to take the pencil and you want to use a little bit heavier hand to trace out that bottom part. And I start about right there. So I'm going to start. Oh, this actually goes on really smooth. I'm actually impressed. This is good eyebrow pencil for $1. Can't get cheaper than that. And then I do the same thing for the top part. And then I go with the lighter hand in the front part of the eyebrow, the inner part. So now I'm finished with my eyebrows. I have to admit, this pencil is really good. I'm actually really impressed. I use Benefit Cosmetics usually for my eyebrows, and for $1, I'm extremely impressed. And remember, I really wanted to do this on a budget. There's other more expensive drugstore brands, but you can't go wrong for $1. And since we were budgeting and I'd rather spend the money on the actual foundation and the powder, the cosmetic clerk said that it is one of the most purchased brands as far as young girls go because that's all they can afford. So I'm impressed. The next step is our bronzer. Now I wanted to purchase a bronzer and a highlighter in one because I can also use it for my eyeshadow. Remember, we're going for a natural, still glamorous look. This is from Wet n Wild. This is their Contour Mega Glow palette in Dulce de Leche. This is a great palette because look how much product you get. And it would think it was like $4.99 or $6.99. I will have it down on the bottom. I mean, you can't go wrong. You're going to use this for your eyeshadow, your bronzer, and your highlight. So here we go. I'm going to take my Morphe G8 brush to go in with the bronzer portion. And I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to pat it in there. Now I don't know how much product, this is first impression too, by the way. I don't know how much product and pigment this has, so I'm going to go light-handed. So here we go. I'm going to squeeze. Oh, whoa. Okay, that came out with a lot more pigment than I even imagined. So you definitely don't need a whole lot in there. And then I'm going to take that. Wow. I'm impressed with this pigment. My goodness. to actually dust some of this off because the pigment is really, really, really good for a $4.99 palette. I'm impressed. And they do have a lighter and a darker version depending on your skin tone. So I have to say I'm really impressed with this bronzer. It's very pretty. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to actually use it for the eyeshadow as well. But first I'm going to take the highlighter side and then I'm going to go in with a base. And you can use any kind of flat brush. This is a Morphe M170-2. I'm going to go in there and just kind of place that product on the eyelid. Now I'm going to take the Morphe M412 brush, it looks like that, and I'm going to take that onto the bronzer side. And remember, there's a lot of pigment in this bronzer, so you want to make sure you tap that off and you want to make sure that you go in with a light hand and you're just going to go into that crease and just create a nice little contour for an eyeshadow. Look at how much pigment you get out of this. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. So you're saving money, yet you get a multi-purpose palette. So remember, you can use bronzer on your eyelids. I don't recommend using blush. Do not use blush, but you can use bronzers. Just an FYI. And I would stick to the bronzers that don't have too much shimmer in them. Try to go more for the matte-based bronzers if you're going to use them as shadows. So now I'm going to take the highlighter side. I'm going to use my highlighter brush. And this is a Morphe R7. Looks just like that. Again, these brushes are very inexpensive. I'm going to take that, I'm going to place it in there, and I'm just going to kind of highlight that area. You don't need a whole lot of highlight. I mean, you're just going to school, so just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little oomph. Then you're going to take your finger, and you're just going to go onto your Cupid's bow. You're going to go onto the tip of your nose, a little bit on your chin, a little bit down the bridge of your nose. These are extra steps you don't have to take. Then you take your loose brush and you just kind of brush it in there. Now this doesn't have a lot of pop, so you can find one. There's plenty of them at the drugstore that have more pop, but I was trying to go for more of a natural look, and I always take my loose brush and I just kind of go all over just to make sure everything's smooth and in place, especially if I'm doing a very natural look. As natural as you can get. Now I'm going to take my Maybelline Lash Discovery, and I know I keep telling you how much I love this mascara, but it is the greatest. And if it's not broke, why fix it, right? If it works for you, then keep using it. This is in Very Black, and this is waterproof, and this is really good, again, for being at school all day and going to your after-school activities. You want to make sure you have waterproof. Here we go. So we're going to go in, and we're just going to kind of brush it up like this. If you do accidentally dab your mascara onto your skin, do not wipe it off right away, because when it dries, you can actually just brush it off. But if you go in there when it's still wet onto your skin, you're going to smear everything, and then you're going to start your makeup all over again. So really, really be careful if you do get it on your skin to just let it dry. Don't panic, let it dry. Give it a few minutes. When you see that it's dry, you'll be able to just flick it off, okay? That's a really important tip if you do get it onto your skin. I did my lips off camera, but this was the Revlon Balm Stain. Well, this is a full face of makeup for less than $25 for just the makeup alone. Not the brushes, but just the makeup alone. Less than $25. You can't go wrong. Go to your local Walgreens, and I'm gonna give you a little snip of Marlena, who I met at the Walgreens. She's the cosmetic clerk, and she's going to tell you the brands that most girls come in to repurchase over and over and over again. And don't forget, do not cake your makeup on. Give your skin room to breathe. Just enhance your natural beauty. Thanks guys, I'll see you on the next tutorial. Bye!
Hi, I'm Marlena. I am the cosmetics clerk at Walgreens, and it's back to school season again, so if you're coming in here looking for affordable makeup with a budget, come and visit the Wet n Wild and the e.l.f. brands. They're very affordable. For example, like this contour palette right here, it is $4.99, so it's pretty affordable. It does have a highlighter and a contour, so 2-in-1. And then also the e.l.f. brand, we do have some contour brushes, some blush brushes, and they're all under $5, so that's pretty good.